Alright, so it's been a while since I've done a video. I'm waiting for the next major FSD release, which hasn't come out yet, but I'm sure it's on the horizon because we have unsupervised full self-driving about to begin in Austin, Texas for the robotaxi. So I know they've got versions of full self-driving software in the hopper waiting to come out. But right now I'm still on 13.2.9, and I will say lately, I would say my FSD usage has probably gone down about 5% or so. Not a ton, but I still notice quite a few small issues where it does something weird and I have to take over. I've got a dash cam video or two that I will splice into this video. And I think the first one is it's in a turn lane, but then it goes straight through an intersection as opposed to turning at a location that has done that before with an earlier version. And then yesterday, I think it was, I had a turn we've already made in this drive where it was going for a right turn and it for some reason became indecisive and the wheel kept shaking and it probably like moved like 2 or 3 times and like I had to take over and complete the turn. I'll add that video now. And what happened was maybe it would have completed the turn, but there was another car coming around the bend, and I didn't want that car to like, what's this guy doing? So I took over to complete the turn and move on. But you know, there's still a lot of those tiny issues that just occur every now and then, which kind of plaguing FSD still. So I'm really hopeful that the next update removes those edge cases and we finally get what we've been waiting for in the release notes for a long time now, with the longer context window, the 3x scaling, I believe, on the training data, and maybe even on the processing, like the size of the supercomputer that can help process all of this. All in all, though, I still use FSD pretty much every day, most of the time with no issue. I'd say the number one issue still plaguing me to this day is direct sunlight at the right angles at the wrong times, which really has me curious how they're going to do on supervised full self-driving. I don't know if the robotaxi has different camera technology and angles and things to help guard against the sun, or whether or not they have better processing that can now accommodate, because you know, if the sun shines into the front camera, I would expect it to still be able to navigate at least temporarily. Maybe the longer context will give us that ability. We've also got the pillar cameras, which can help. I know they don't take the place of it, but I gotta think that they can handle it better than just, oh, we're done, you know, take over, right? They have to know that there's going to be a lot of sun, so they have to have a plan to deal with direct sunlight in the camera for full self-driving. I just don't know what it is. Remains to be seen. It does pretty much guarantee that at certain times of the day, like sunrise in the morning, depending on, you know, if you're going east and the sun is rising, I mean, you're pretty much guaranteed that full self-driving won't even work, because the cameras will constantly be blinded. So yeah, really eager to see how they tackle that. I can confirm that full self-driving so far seems to still be a little problematic when it comes to small things in the road. Oh, blue Cybertruck. But also it handles it better. What do I mean? Those speed humps in my neighborhood. This thing will still go over them about 50% of the time way too fast. However, just yesterday I had a small squirrel dancing in the street in front of me, and I could feel the Tesla like trying to accommodate that. Like it was making small movements, and we didn't hit the squirrel, but I could feel it making adjustments. So you can see a tiny squirrel still misses the speed hump. I don't know what's going on with that. Tell you what, probably my favorite thing about unsupervised is just that, the ability to not have to keep my eyes on the road. It happens a lot because it's really picky about if you interact with the display at all. Like, let me do a test right now. I've got my sunglasses off, I can see my eyes. I'm gonna just click through, and I'm periodically looking at the street, but let me find playlist, let me look for something, let me hit play. See, if I didn't do much, I was navigating to a playlist, and before I could find a song and actually hit play, it starts complaining about keeping my eyes on the road. So I would really love for that to just, when we get to unsupervised, it won't matter, and I can find my song or do whatever I'm doing without having to worry about strikes. Alright, this is just a quick trip to Taco Bell and back, so I'll cut this video and pick it up on the way back home. Alright, here's the interesting thing. So maybe that's why I need to, my first video will be the first replay video I did when it picked the wrong lane. That might just be how I'm using FSD right now. So I'm at this light, I just engaged full self-driving. I can only go right, I'm not in the left lane, but it still keeps trying to put on the left turn signal and kind of get in front of this guy, because my current map directions say we're going to go left. I couldn't get in that lane, so I got in the right lane. When I engage full self-driving, it's not able to make that calculation in the moment that I'm in a right turn only lane, because, you know, it just, maybe it doesn't have enough data to know my position, or maybe it would try and wait for those cars to go and then get over, which would not be ideal at all. So that other video that I played, I think the same thing happened. I was in a turn only lane, but I engaged full self-driving at a time where it probably could not accurately decide which lane it was in, and very possibly it maybe it thought it was in the straight lane, like the straight ahead lane. So just some little hiccups there that probably won't happen if you start full self-driving from like if you don't interrupt it. Like I'm engaging it you know, when I'm already in a traffic condition. If you're starting from a parking space and it's navigating everything from the start, you probably won't hit that condition where it doesn't know what's happening. But a lot of times the way I use full self-driving is I will drive myself into and out of a parking lot, pretty much like get to the first street light, and then I engage full self-driving. That's just how I use it. So sometimes that puts me in an odd spot where it doesn't know what lane I'm in, and it does a weird behavior at the outset. So I guess I don't know if I should fault the software for that at this time. But hey, that's just life, you know. It's not always going to be starting from a parking spot and trying to end in a parking spot. I will say that once I'm moving and it's navigating after it's turned on, you know, and I'm not in that weird spot, I never seem to have any trouble with it at all, other than like maybe it's too aggressive on lane changes or not aggressive enough. Still have a problem with it leaving the right lane if I'm within 0.2 of a mile of a turn. Like, unless the car in front of me is only going 10 miles an hour, like, don't get in the left lane and then try and cut back over to the right with like, you know, less than a quarter mile to go. That's like, I really hate that. They used to have an option to turn off to where you could specify minimal lane changes, but I haven't seen that in so long, since probably version 13. I don't know if they give you, I guess they don't give you that option anymore. It's just the driving profiles. You're trying to look for it real quick at the stoplight. See if it'll yell at me. Autopilot. Looking for, yeah, there used to be a checkbox for minimize lane changes. Doesn't have that anymore. Must just all be built into the driving profiles. Also, I never use actually smart summon. I wonder if turning that off will save me a little bit of battery. Yeah, well, this video is probably less exciting, but just the current state of full self-driving, what we've been living with quite a few months, still the same. Overall, great. Still has little issues with the camera blinding. Sometimes it doesn't always see things in the road. Like there's one specific turn-in I always make, and there's a pothole right where you turn off the road and you go in the parking lot. It never sees the pothole. So a lot of times I take the wheel at the last minute to avoid the pothole. But it can see a squirrel in the road, but it can't see a speed hump. So there's definitely some, what do you call it? Non-uniformity. Like it handles certain conditions, but not others. And you're like, what's the difference? So what they really need to work on is uniformity. Getting the software to be consistent every time. I really think the enhanced context length will help with that. And again, that's when it's making decisions not based on a single frame of the camera, but based on 5, 10, 15 seconds of video footage. So it has context, like it doesn't have to make a decision right now about, okay, that car's there and that light's red, but it can see, okay, these cars are moving, this car just passed, and just having those extra few seconds of awareness of what's going on around the vehicle, I think will help tremendously. I don't think I'll have any issues with the speed humps when that happens. I don't think I'll have issues with the potholes. Like the pothole, I could see it coming, right? So if it can see it coming ahead of time for a few seconds and use those few seconds of video footage to understand there's a pothole, it'll definitely avoid it, I'm sure. So really looking forward to that. And I'll be greatly disappointed if that is not fixed with the new update. Final thoughts. When we get to unsupervised full self-driving, I do really feel like that'll be a game changer, because I mean, I'm not the only one that, even with supervised, like I'm not eating my lunch now because I'm waiting to eat with my wife, but there's a lot of times I'm physically eating lunch while I'm driving or eating dinner. Like my hands are not on the wheels, my feet are not on the pedals, like I'm just looking ahead. So when it's unsupervised, I mean, there's just like, I could play a game of cards or something with someone. Like I almost wonder if it will allow me to, and maybe one day it'll allow you to use the screen and like play a game even when it's navigating, and maybe just like interrupt you for something important. I don't know if, I doubt that'll come out with the first unsupervised version, but as confidence grows, I mean, could I watch a movie on here with my family as it's driving me to a theme park or something? Like, it's going to change the very culture and understanding of transportation in a very significant way. And then from there, it'll eventually evolve once that technology is proven out to just like the robotaxi, no wheel. The interior space will be different, such that we will probably end up designing cars for more socially communicating with everyone versus having a driver, passenger, and passengers behind, and like for safety, I guess we should always be facing forward, but you know, I think there are some certain types of like Chrysler Pacifica vans, and they have these like seats in the back, and they rotate so that, like, the kids can like play with each other and talk to each other. They've had that for a long time. I could see that, like a resurgence of that becoming a thing. And I mean, what if your car ends up becoming like completely isolated from the direction it's traveling? What I mean is the airbag deploys towards the driver because I'm driving. But when I'm no longer driving and the car is driving, I mean, eventually I won't need a windshield. Eventually we can have airbags like all around, and it won't matter as much which direction I'm facing. You know, if they can modify the safety equipment such that, you know, it's less directional. I guess what I have in mind is something like, I believe it's in Demolition Man. Maybe I can pull a clip of the movie up and splice it into this, but Sylvester Stallone's driving in a car, and I think it like hits a ramp or something, it lands in some water, and there's like this foam that instantly shoots into the car and just like freezes them in place. Like, if that happens, it doesn't matter which direction you're facing or which direction the impact is, because that foam wraps around you and you're safe. So, I mean, science fiction is just, you know, tomorrow's reality at this stage. Anyways, we're here. If you like my thoughts and my rants on AI and full self-driving, please like, subscribe, and hopefully I'll have a more exciting FSD video coming soon when they do a meaningful upgrade.